this video, I'm going to talk to you about morning routines. Specifically, the morning routines that I've had over the last few years. So these are things that I've done every day in the morning after waking up, after getting out of bed, for at least a few weeks or months. If there's something that I tried out for a few days, I probably don't even remember it. And if I did remember it, it doesn't really count as a routine. It was only an experiment or randomly what I did for a few days. So this video is about the several things I can remember, the several periods in the last few years where I had a specific plan about what I would do every morning after getting up, my morning routine. But first, what do I think is the most important reason to have a morning routine? There are practical reasons. For example, there are things that are better to do in the morning than at other times in the day. There are things that if you don't do in the morning, maybe you don't end up doing them, so it's good to get them done in the morning, first thing after getting up. Often these are habits that you want to start doing every day, and you know that if you leave them till later in the day, it's harder to get them done when you're a bit tired in the afternoon. So there are practical reasons to have a morning routine because it can help you in your life, it can help you get things done. But to me, the most important thing about a morning routine is that it's something you look forward to, something you enjoy, and so the routine gives you the certainty that every morning when you get up, you'll have something to do which you enjoy. You don't have to think and make a decision between many different options about what you should do first, what you should do second. You design a routine that you can do every morning, a reason to get out of bed. This is something I'm looking forward to. It's going to help me get out of bed early in the morning, enjoy myself, and hopefully also get a few things done that are going to help me in life. Ideally, it's a combination between things you enjoy doing, that you look forward to and want to get out of bed to do, and things that, for example, things like good habits that are going to improve your life if you do them every day. That combination. For the last 5-6 months, most mornings, the first thing I do is put on my clothes, go outside, and go for a walk. Close to the apartment building that I live in is a nice park, and nearly every morning I go there and do a circuit. I walk around the park and then walk back. So I go for a walk first thing in the morning. What I do next, what I do after getting back from the walk, has been different at different times in the last half a year. Right now, currently, I'm learning Spanish. For a while now, for 2 years, I've been seriously learning Spanish, but it's only about a year ago, a bit less than a year ago, that I discovered the idea of comprehensible input, of learning a language through listening and watching like you're doing right now. And so for about a year, I've been learning Spanish with Dreaming Spanish, the website and YouTube channel that does comprehensible videos in Spanish. And for the last month, I've been doing that in the morning. After the walk, I watch 1 hour of Dreaming Spanish, of videos in Spanish, while drinking a coffee and having a piece of toast, a small breakfast. I look forward to going for a walk a lot, but sometimes, especially on cold or rainy days, I don't really want to go for a walk. So having something after the walk that I look forward to even more, and I really look forward to watching Spanish for an hour and feeling the progress and having a nice coffee and piece of toast, that also helps me be more motivated to do the thing before it, to go for the walk. And that's the idea of a routine, of combining things together so that everything will reinforce each other. And while there's one thing you may like a lot more than another thing, they form together a package, and you look forward to going through the whole thing every morning. Before that, when I was watching the Spanish in the afternoon, which was more difficult, in the morning, instead of the Spanish, I was reading books for about an hour, or my goal was to read for an hour. That's also something I look forward to a lot. Normally, I was reading self-help books. So self-improvement books, books you read to get ideas about good habits and other things you can do to improve your life. Watching the Spanish and reading a book are both things I was doing for a big chunk of time, 40 minutes or an hour, after going for a walk, and the walk takes about 20, maybe 25 minutes. Before having the big block of reading every morning, I was doing lots of little things. That was a very different type of morning routine, where after 20 minutes walk, I would read, but only for 10 or 15 minutes, and then I would journal. I would have a journal and write for 5 minutes, 1 page of what I was thinking, or maybe my plans for the day or my goals. That was another of these small habits, writing every day, only 5 minutes, your goals. 5 minutes of meditation, meditating, and it never worked very well for me, but visualizing. In a lot of self-help books, they suggest that you visualize what you want. You close your eyes and try to imagine the things you want to achieve, or how your ideal life, what it would look like. But I can't see things very clearly in my mind's eye, so visualization never worked so well for me. But that routine was very interesting because it was lots of little things. It was a period of time where I was experimenting with lots of little things and seeing how they worked. Reading, goal writing, journaling, meditating, visualizing, as well as my walk. And the idea was that together they should make about an hour. I did it because of a book I read called Miracle Morning, another self-help book. The idea of this book was that everyone's lives would be a lot better if they took 1 hour every morning, if they woke up 1 hour earlier, to have an hour where they focused on themselves, where they focused on their self-improvement. And some of the suggestions in the book were things like meditating, journaling, visualizing, reading. And that was good. I enjoyed it. But I think I stopped doing it because in the end, I wanted to read a lot more time. I wanted to have 40 minutes or an hour to really read something and make sure I read for an hour every day. Because if I don't read in the morning, often I don't get it done later on in the day. But it's a good idea to experiment, to find out what things work for you in the morning, to take an hour and try out lots of little things for 5 minutes for a few weeks or a month. I also recently read a book called Getting Things Done, and the idea of that book, or at least one habit that it encourages, is to have in trays, in boxes, so any information you get coming to you from the external world or ideas you have in your mind, write them all down, and then at some period, regularly process all this information. And so for a few weeks, I had a habit of every morning after getting up, after getting back from walking, to sit down at my desk and all the documents, all the letters I'd gotten, all the notes I've written, to try and sort through, process as many of them as I could for about 30 minutes. So that every day I would have a feeling that I'm staying in control of all the information. I'm not letting it build up, that I'm making sure all the reminders I have to do things, or of reminders of ideas of things I may want to do, that I organize them and categorize them so that I can act on them now, that I remember about them and they don't get lost in paper, or I can put them away and know where they are when I want to review them, look at them again in the future. This was a very good routine, and I learned to enjoy it because after doing it, you feel very good. You feel like you've gotten a lot done and a lot is off your mind. But I'm not really sure why I stopped doing it. Like so many routines, we just stop doing them because there's 1 or 2 days where we just don't feel like it, and then the bad habit begins of not doing it. But I think it's also something that I enjoy to do even more. I feel more capable of doing it in the evening after getting everything done. It's easier to process this information on the same day as it's built up than first sleeping and forgetting things between the 2 days while you're sleeping that would have helped you to organize the information. But it's a good routine for another time in the day. I think I'll stop there and just finish by saying that, of course, morning routines aren't the only important routines. There's good routines to try out throughout your whole day. And often, if you're trying out a routine in the morning and it doesn't go so well and you feel bad because you feel like you're lazy or you're not disciplined, maybe it just means it's something that belongs in a different time of day. It's something that you should do at a different time of day. So always be optimistic and willing to try it out again. Don't give up, but be flexible and try it out at a different time. There's only so much you can get done in the morning before you need to start with your day. So be flexible. Okay, see ya. And don't forget that you can support me on Patreon. The link is in the description below.